have you, because there is nothing to me personally I'm more passionate about than women's pelvic health. Because when we talk about everything in the DACA detox and we talk about health, it always comes back to pooping in your pelvis or things going on in the pelvic region. And I believe that most women have had so little information about what's really happening for us and the way we can take back our own health, become our own practitioner. And we touch on all kinds of interesting things every week. Today, we're talking about pelvic adhesions. And I know that we have wonderful pictures in the slideshow. So it's an interesting thing because pelvic adhesions are bands of scar tissue that form between organs and tissues in the pelvic region. And remember that wonderful model I had last week that shows you all the organs that are down there, right? So the most common affected organs in the pelvic region are the fallopian tubes for us women, uterus, ovaries, and bladder, right? So adhesions are primarily caused by inflammation or infection of the pelvic area. Endometriosis could be previous surgeries. There are lots of women out there who have had where they go in and have a C-section. They even have C-sections where they've scheduled C-sections, if you can believe that, instead of it being a last-ditch effort. And so you can imagine the scar tissue that's going to form when you have to cut into the pelvic region. And so we have these, I'm hoping that we have the slide up there that shows these pelvic adhesions. If not, I don't know if you have got the slide yourself so you can keep track. But when you look at how they continue to grow, right? So these adhesions are things that your body's forming in order to try to protect you, right, from whatever infection and stuff is going on. So I know that there's a variety of symptoms. Do you happen to have a list of those symptoms, Cynthia?
Well, I do actually firsthand because I actually had 3 C-sections.
Oh, wow.
I did, yes. So I had an emergency one, and then, it was surprising the following 2, how much they pushed and made me feel guilty for, I'm like, what about a VBAC, which is when you have a vaginal birth after cesarean? And so many doctors were like, no, I'm not going to do it because of the liability. And so they pushed and pushed. And I finally, I didn't know back then, but I know now. But I did end up getting the 2 scheduled cesareans, and I had no idea the adhesions that were causing all of these problems, like leaking urine. They're like, oh, after you have a baby, you're just gonna keep, that's just the way it is. So I'm thinking, oh, it's just normal to have a pad in your pants. It's normal to not be able to hold your urine. I feel like you have to go like right now. So yeah, I experienced those symptoms firsthand. And actually you were the first person to do non-surgical on me. And I remember you and Dr. Wolf taking a look at my abdomen, and I had no idea of the issues that were already caused in there. Daryl, you know how he's 5 sessions, you're going to need 5 on that abdomen. And really, I'm on session 4, and the difference from just breaking up those adhesions, it's phenomenal. Like my scar tissue is more flat. My digestion is better. I don't feel like I have to pee all the time. I can go on the trampoline and not, it's not a sprinkler all over in there. So these adhesions really do cause a lot of problems if we don't know about them and get to the root cause.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing all those intimate things with us and, what you've been through, because you're right. It can cause chronic pain in the lower abdomen or bowels. It can cause pain during sexual intercourse. It can, you can have constipation. For some women, they can even have like a foul-smelling vaginal discharge, which is an indication for women that there's something going on in there that we really need to address. Nausea, like you said, frequent urination or incontinence, right? Mm-hmm. Back pain that can radiate to the legs. And even if you have bowel obstruction and you get difficulty with your bowel movements, then you have the inability to pass gas. And think about the pain that comes from those kind of cramping, which can be confused with other kinds of cramping. So it is absolutely, and then of course, when all that happens, like you said, being pushed to do something you want, and then there's depression. I mean, there's all these things because people don't know that there are things that we can do that we talk about all the time here at the Doc and Detox and going through the courses and learning about the Wolf non-surgical. But most of the time, what it really comes down to is inflammation in the pelvic region, which is, that's right, pooping in your pelvis. And I love the way Lorraine always explains and describes the highway to life. And I know that Lorraine has joined us. I'm not sure if she's ready. Just give me a nod if you're ready, Lorraine.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you guys were live yet.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Okay, let me get these slides moving. I was just running from the last meeting to get here after running all day. We had an amazing day here in Calgary.
Well, you got some phenomenal pictures of the female pelvic adhesions and even the male pelvic adhesions. I mean, when you look at that and you see everything that's in there and how much it affects the body, it's mind blowing.
It really is putting the body on lockdown. All of your inner organs, little bits at a time. It's kind of like there's this spider that is having babies, and it's just pushing the babies all over the place, and those adhesions are grabbing on to the organs. And like you guys were saying, this is something that happens to absolutely everybody. Everybody. Either you've got a trauma or you've got an emotion that puts an organ on lockdown, or organs, or the entire abdominal area. Like it's just, and the medical system, their take on what they need to do there is just go in and open up the adhesions with like tiny little scissors that they can go in there and start opening them up. But then they've got a couple of cameras in there too. So now you've got a few holes in the abdomen where they're coming from. Like I was really intrigued with this one. I thought, I know I had them, but it never occurred to me how bad they are and how far this goes.
Well, I can say from my own experience, Lorraine, that when I went in and I had actual major surgery done where they cut me hip to hip and all the way up to my belly button. And when I was recovering, even years later, something as simple as sitting up and I could feel things pulling from the strangest places in my body. And I thought, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? And so, yeah, until I actually had taken and learned about how to reduce inflammation, which we're going to go right into, I suffered. Didn't have any idea. I could actually feel them tear when I would try to do something. That's how much they can form over time, especially for those kind of surgeries or having a baby. Gosh, 4 babies and then surgery. I mean,
yeah. Well, I can speak on that too. I was 18 when I had my first abdominal surgery where they removed both ovaries. And I remember after that, I felt like I had a 2x4 in there. That's what it felt like. Because
absolutely. And I can say after my C-sections, it felt like there was a rope, like right underneath the scarring. And even when I touched it, it was hard. It was hard. And it was causing issues in my back and my neck because I was in that hunched over position. Everything was just so jammed up, pulling in. So it can create havoc all over your body.
Yeah, exactly. And then I had ovarian cysts removed when I was 30. And then when I was 40, I had a hysterectomy. And the doctor who did the hysterectomy, when I came out of it, said, oh, by the way, we took your cervix just in case, you might have cervical cancer. We'll just get rid of everything. Thinking about it now, I mean, then I thought, okay, you know best, right? I signed that paper. But yeah, so by the time I was 40, there was 3 hip to hip cuts. And I just think of all the adhesions, and no wonder I became constipated, and sex, making love hurt from a very young age. I don't remember it ever not hurting. And that's why, right? When you've got these adhesions all over down there, and they're just getting bigger and more profound. I mean, yeah, nothing's going to be working properly. Nothing's going to work properly.
That is so true. And even when it happens naturally, because I'm a pretty small person and my son was 11 pounds, 2 ounces, and he tore the whole pelvic floor on the way out naturally. And of course, nobody knew that. Nobody. But after 8 to 12 weeks, I'm still walking like I have, like on tender toes. And they go in for x-rays and they could see this huge tear, and you could already see the adhesions forming, because that's what the body does. The body's trying to do its best to hold things together when injury or trauma happens, right? Yeah. So, wow, that is such a great picture. You could just see, and it really does look like what Lorraine said. It's almost like fishing barbs or like
cobwebs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cobwebs. Yeah. I had 2 babies, and my first baby was 10, 5.5. And she was about a month overdue.
Oh, wow.
Mine was 2 weeks early.
Holy. Yeah. And they tried to use the suction to help get her out, but she had too much hair. So they had to use the old fashioned forceps. Oof. And then she ended up with a birthmark right underneath her eye here. Yeah. Yeah. And even that, I mean, can you imagine being a baby and being pulled out by your head?
Yeah. Welcome to the world.
Right now. Whether you want it or not.
Yeah.
Yep.
I found this picture on the side here with a lady with looks like an appendix scar and then a lower abdomen scar. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe it was a inguinal hernia, because it looks like it's pretty far down there for cesarean. And then the picture underneath, it describes what the adhesions would look like. So you can see that lower pelvic area is on lockdown. The large intestine, especially, as it makes that final turn before it comes down into the rectum, it's on lockdown. So, I mean, that alone is gonna give you problems, because we know when that large intestine isn't functioning properly, well, then there's trouble in River City. Right? Mm-hmm. And when it's not moving properly, it's backing up. You're starting to get compacted, right?
That's for sure. But at least we have solutions here at the DACA Detox and Braveheart Nation. We absolutely do. And so one of the things we always talk about is the highway of life. Yeah. Cynthia, can you tell us about the highway of life?
Oh, well, yes, because the large intestine, that's the holy grail. And that is, that's where the magic happens. Like if you look at this chart here, the first brain is the heart. Then we've got the second brain, right up here. But the third brain is down in your gut. And that we want to make sure that communication is clear so that all the functions in the body can happen properly and beautifully. And if you're jammed up and constipated and things are piling up and you've got a manure pile, you're attracting all those bugs and those parasites and all those nasty things in there that aren't supposed to be there. And it can cause a mess of problems. I mean, just think about a manure pile sitting there. I mean, Daryl always says, like, oh, you imagine it in the morning time, it's steaming. You know, you've got gas rising, you flip it over. What is under there? Bugs and parasite. It's gross. And you think about, like, whoa, if that's really what's going on in my body, no wonder I feel like crap, because that's literally what's going on in the body. So really taking care of your inner terrain and making sure that that's a beautiful garden that can function properly, and do make sure that that's going well so that everything else can function properly in the body. So that's why we have the different products like the black gold and the black diamond crystals and the coffee enema, which I think we're talking about today, if that's correct.
Yep.
You can help restore that whole terrain in your large intestine where the magic really happens. So restoring that with the black gold, which is going to help bring the nutrients back into that digestive tract. I think it's what, ladies, 70 plus bionutrients?
You bet.
That
you bet.
brings
That's
back?
what it is.
Yeah, and the black gold's going to work in that digestive tract. Going to help to attach to those toxins and the heavy metals and to help bind to it so it can send it on its way out. And also the black diamond crystals that we talk about a lot in the Doc of Detox, those are going to cross the blood-brain barrier. So they're going to get even deeper and not only just in the digestive tract like the black gold, but they're going to restore that gut brain connection. So there are multiple things that you can do. It's just not a lost cause, like they might say this is how it's going to be forever. You can repair that gut if you give it the right ingredients. There is healing.
Yeah.
So I think with like the next slide, we do talk about the coffee enema, right?
Well, hang on, you're moving a bit fast.
Okay, so I'm just so excited.
I know you're excited. I love that you have so much enthusiasm. But, one of the things we tell people, because people don't understand what it means to poop in your pelvis.
Yes.
When we talk about inflammation, you're talking about the bacteria and the fungus. And so the fungus is what drills those micro holes in that thin millimeter lining, that we have in our large intestines. So that's able to drill the hole. So you are actually seeping the fecal matter into the pelvic bowl, and your body's going to respond like it responds to any infection, right? It's going to create all the, inflammation. It's going to bring as much as it can in there to try to cover it up, to shove it into a fat cell, do whatever it can to protect you from that inflammation. And one of the other amazing things that black gold does is balance your hormones. So when you're taking black gold, it's in the gut, right? And so we're trying to rebuild that really good flora. We're trying to rebuild that intestinal flora so that we can have that gorgeous garden that you're talking about. And Lorraine, do you have anything to add?
You bet. And even before any of the products, you got to make sure that you're actually honoring your digestion with absolutely everything that you are bringing in there. So we got to make sure that when we go out shopping, we are looking for live and fresh. So that means fruits and vegetables and sprouts. These things still have the spark of life. And at the end of the day, I don't care what you've put in your body, it is the spark of life that stays there. That's the frequency, that's the vibration. Everything else gets excreted. So when we look at food as whether it has life force or vibration, that changed my world. I mean, I'm certified in holistic nutrition. I took extra classes to find out about vitamins and minerals and coenzymes and how everything meshed. And if you missed this, you needed that, and you had to balance this one and bring in that one. And it was a big ordeal. If somebody would have said, look at the vibration. I mean, it's so simple. It's so simple. Does this still have life force? If the answer is yes, then maybe you should eat it.
For sure, you should eat it. In fact, I make my own sprouts all the time. I have a jar going so that I always have sprouts to eat because for me, those, if I had like one food that you could eat, you'd want it to be a sprout. I mean, they
Exactly.
literally have everything you could want. I did, however, I did put one in my shake once and I wasn't sure. I, I, I was crazy about the sprouts in my shake, but it goes on everything else.
Yeah.
It goes on my salads and my whatever it is that I'm eating. And like you, Lorraine, if I go a day without that fresh salad or something, I literally feel my frequency lower. Like I
Exactly.
want to keep adding to it. I just want to feel that goodness and take my time. Because like Lorraine said, are we being mindful? Because you should be drinking your solids and chewing your liquids. And so I tell people, try putting the fork down between bites. It's amazing when we've been so conditioned to eat in a hurry, fast food, not pay attention to our emotional well-being at the time, eating angry, arguing at the table. And when you're arguing or you're in that sort of that state, you can't be in a digestive state. You are now in a sympathetic state of fight or flight. You're literally fighting. So there's no way digestion can happen. These are one of the things, and it's just in my brain because Lorraine has said it so many times that it's now in my brain. You do not have teeth in your stomach.
Exactly. Exactly. I did a consultation for a couple, good friends of mine. I hadn't seen them for a while. And they asked me, they said they'd been following me and they wanted to do a consultation. So I did a consultation for them in the spring. And I got a note from them saying that they started a new business. And it's called The Spark of Life. And they're growing microgreens, so they're growing sprouts and selling them. And I thought, that's so great. The spark of life. I wonder where they thought of that from. That's what it is. When I counsel people, I talk about the vibration or the frequency that fruit has, and compared to the vibration of vegetables. Now, vegetables are typically, when we put them all together in one little group, they're typically a little bit lower vibration than fruit. But those sprouts, now there's the spark of life. They are just jumping for joy. So when you can add sprouts into anything, and maybe even your smoothie, but maybe it's a green smoothie anyways, not a fruit one, but maybe a fruit one. I don't know. You might be able to put radish with some fruit. I mean, because there's so many sprouts out there now. But especially in the winter, especially when we go into the winter, here up in Canada, there's nothing growing right now. We had a really bad snowstorm this morning, and it took me 51 minutes to get to my clinic. 51 minutes instead of 25. And so we started off late. I called the first lady and she was fine. She actually got here about 20 minutes before we did. And then I called the next lady and the next lady. And then we ran into our lunchtime, but it all worked, and not that has anything to do with sprouts. I'm not even sure how I brought that about, but anyhow.
You were having a great attitude, Lorraine, and that's good.
Exactly. I didn't get frustrated.
Yeah.
My GPS took me through a whole bunch of little subdivisions that I'd never explored before. And I'm just trusting that it's going to get me to where I'm going. And it did. Yeah. But it kept me off the main drags, right? Because that's where all the accidents were.
Well, that's because you were having all those sprouts and your frequency was high.
Exactly. Exactly. That's where it came from. So, you know what? I wanted to show people the the picture I had here before. So I want people to know that, you know what, this isn't just a female thing that's happening. It happens more with females because we get more surgeries, we get more procedures. I don't care what kind of, if they went and did an ablation, it didn't cut anything, but they burned stuff, right? They went in through the vagina and burned the inner wall of the uterus. So no real cut, but were there adhesions? I'm sure there were. I'm sure there were. But men, you can have the same problem. You know, so I wanted to make sure I could find one for men. And this is the one that I found for men. So you can see the large intestine is on lockdown. It's on lockdown, especially that last little portion of it where it starts to do its funky little over and back turn as it comes down into the rectum. And when that part's on lockdown, well, sorry, it's going to affect the rest. And then just knowing that, you know, when you don't chew properly, and your digestion starts getting longer and it churns and churns and churns in the stomach, now it starts to putrefy. And when it putrefies, you're feeding the bad bacteria, the fungus, and the parasites. And like Cheryl said, those fungus, those are the ones that make their way into the large intestine and drill little holes in the lining of the large intestine. And now you've got like a screen door in a submarine. So anything transitioning through there falls into the pelvic bowl. And you can see here in a man, I mean, his prostate's going to get irritated first. You know, his bladder is going to get irritated. The large intestine and even the rectum's going to get irritated. And then it gets inflamed, and then it gets infected, and then you get tissue rot, and then you get mutation. So that's the way it goes. So we want to be able to bring everything back to health.
That is just such an amazing picture. And, you know, when I get to see clients, and especially when they're older, I'm working on a client now that I absolutely know has adhesions in all the places that are in this picture. And it is, you know, once you start pooping in your pelvis, then other things are going to happen. And this is where you get the 4-stage inflammation. And this is where the other things happen, right? Because it's just going to exacerbate. But the truth is, like we've been talking about, when you talk about taking the black gold and the black diamond, there are these simple, wonderful things that we can do to take massive personal action for ourselves, because it is, as we always say, we can guide you, we can take you to the water, but you have to be the one to drink. You have to become your own, you know, personal practitioner.
Yeah.
Become your own advocate for health. Read, do all the things, and you know, don't just take our word for it. You know, get out there and start educating yourself and read about it, because the truth is, when you start doing these things, and all three of us girls sitting here today have all been on this journey, have all taken these amazing nutraceuticals, have done the 6-day advanced water fasting, we've done the infusions, we've done the ultimate coffee enemas, and we are here telling you today that who we were even 2 years ago is not who we are today.
Yeah.
Pain-free and amazing. Go ahead, Lorraine.
It takes about 9 months for you to fix the large intestine. 9 months. And once the large intestine's fixed and working properly, guess what? Your body goes and does more. And then it does more. And then it does more. And you start reversing your inner age. You know, when I was in Ixtapa, one of the lady I was living with, she bought this machine, and it was able to, I could step on the scale. It gave me my weight, my hydration, my fat level, and a few other things. But the one thing that I was so proud of was my inner age. And I'm going to be 67 next week. And so when I was in Ixtapa, when this happened, I was 65, and my internal age came at 44.
Awesome.
44. So I had reversed my aging internally first, while externally was doing it too. That's what happens when the cells get happy, when the cells actually get the vibration that they need so that they can spin at the right speed and contract and expand. So when they expand, they're bringing in nutrition. When they're contracting, they're pushing out the waste. I was going to say they're crapping, but yeah, but that's what they're doing. So yeah, when you can take that massive personal action, I don't care what dis-ease you have, your body knows how to heal. You've just given it everything it needs, and it will perform miracles by the minute. But that's my opinion.
Well, I think that's amazing. And as Cynthia's already, started us off with the black gold and the black diamond, right?
Yeah.
But, and did a wonderful job, because that's the truth. We do want to create a garden down there instead of a manure pile. That's the whole point of, that happening, right? So you'll start to feel those results, even though it might take 9 months to get that one wonderful, the beautiful rebuild. I started to feel better within 2 weeks, maybe not 100%, but I felt so much better just eliminating some of the things from my diet. What I remember hearing Lorraine say, just do 1% a day. Well, you know what? It's kind of like someone giving up cigarettes. You got to go into your pantry and go, oh, my corn chips. Oh, but those are air fried potato chips. They can't be that bad. You start bargaining with yourself. I'll get rid of this, but I'll get rid of all my processed food, but not the cheese. Do I have to get rid of the cheese? Wait. What if I do goat cheese, or maybe I'll do sheep cheese? I mean, I can just hear myself, but I did.
Yeah.
I did do it in stages, right? And what I found was, when I didn't try to do it all at once, I didn't have that mental detox. I was able to let it go, and then I didn't miss it anymore. Then I let go of the next thing. Then I didn't miss it anymore. And it was such a gentler process. And normally I'm not that gentle with myself. I'm usually just plow right in and get it done and, show them that you're a warrior, right? But I realized I didn't want this to be another one of those yo-yo things that I did in my life, where you try something different and you wait a certain amount of time. And if you don't get the results, and you try something different, and, on and on the cycle goes. But I wanted this to be success, because this came backed with facts. This is backed with science. This was backed with and feeling it myself immediately when I stopped, especially doing the dairy and especially doing the gluten. And believe me, I made the best sourdough bread you've ever tasted. And so it was just, all these things. Now, after years of doing this, can I have a slice now and then? Of course I do. But I'm taking a handful of my digestive enzymes, because I already know that if it's not alive, if I'm not eating something that has a higher frequency, then I'm doing it to satisfy an emotional or mental need and has nothing to do with health. And that's okay. Sometimes it just it feels good, right?
Yeah, for sure. And that 1% a day, in 100 days, you got it. And, when you do the perfect day lifestyle, and you take the whole life coach and the Wolf non-surgical and the pelvic restoration and disease prevention masterclass, you're going to rock your world. You are a changed person. You cannot take these classes and not hang on to that change. Because you feel the difference. You feel the difference when you have that sourdough bread that you loved before. I know my background, my heritage is Swiss, and there's so many cheeses. And that was probably the last thing that I gave up was that. And now when I have some, it doesn't taste the same. It's so strange when we get accustomed to something and everybody else is liking it. then I think that's when we start liking it because everybody else is liking it, right? I don't know, because it doesn't taste good to me anymore. So, or maybe it's just the vibration. I'm looking for something that's going to raise my vibration up, not something that's going to rob from my body for my body to be able to utilize it. Because that's what happens. If there's no vibration, your body has to pull from your reserves. And if you are in a diseased state, you have no reserves. So you're going down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There you go. That's my rant.
Yeah,
Do you
I
want to
think.
add anything, Cynthia?
Yeah, I think the things for me that were the last ones to go were the meat, which has no vibration at all. The processed food, so like the little snacky things, I have a little, like because my kids, we had a lot of snacks in our cabinet, and I had to be very mindful not to just be like overhaul, in one night, because then everybody's, crying and fighting, and because there's a lot of poison in there, and it created a lot of mood instability. So I had to kind of be strategic about we're replacing this. We're adding this fruit and this vegetable to our menu. So don't go gung ho and scare your family because they'll be like, mommy's lost it. But doing it in a fun way, doing it in a way that made it learning experience. We talk about like why we were doing this and. How were you feeling? Don't you feel a little bit better when you have the apple and not the Cheetos? And, checking in with their bodies. And so as I was like teaching them, I'm like teaching myself. And I think, if I call myself out because I just lay it all on the table, the last thing to go was by vaping. I was doing all the perfect diet and, doing the exercise and everything, but I'm like, oh, please, just this one thing. But I didn't realize that how much that was just shutting down my frequency completely. But it's out there right now tremendously. It's exploding within the young people, but I don't think we realize how much that really is just shutting off all those cells that are doing those amazing things. And this, addictive behavior just shuts that down. So finally, when I let that go, it was like, okay, we can do this. We can do this. So, let go of things gently. Small, gentle, baby, loving steps is the way to go. And, celebrate yourself because, it's a celebration. Like I think working out is a celebration of what your body can do. It's not punishment for something you ate. So celebrate yourself as you.
That's so well said, Cynthia. And what we talk about when you start this process is you do want to honor yourself and you do want to make this process as gentle and easy as possible. So we tell people to get onto the cleansing tea, right? When you're on the cleansing tea, it is actually cleansing every organ in your body. It's gently going through. And I love the taste of it. I really do. I have some in the morning and I have some in the evening, right? Yeah. And then we've already talked about the black gold and black diamond. But even more important than that is we want to make sure you're doing the ultimate coffee enema when you are doing all of these things, because you want to help support your body to whoosh back out the back door, right? We don't want it all blocking up in there. And let's face it, most of us, have quite a bit of blockage and backup in there that we want to gently get rid of. And so, we need to tell everybody to go to the bhnapp.com. You need to download the free Braveheart Nation app. Now, it has the library, which has so much free information with so much history, so much knowledge. There's so much there that you can self-educate yourself with. But the perfect day guide is in there that you can open up and use any time, that talks about each of the ingredients that goes into the ultimate coffee enema. It talks about the high frequency nutraceuticals that we use, which means that for us, when you're putting those high frequency nutraceuticals, these are things that are already structured. These are things that your body gets to use right away. And for most of us that have it, we have the my brain just went blank. The water unit for, my portable structured water unit, right? If you don't have ability to have wonderful mountain spring water that you can go and get and fill up your jugs, then you want to make sure that the water that you're using is structured so that when we add all these things that we're using, we're getting that much more availability, right? Everything that we're using is that much better. And I mean, look at all these amazing things that are going into your ultimate coffee enema. I mean, I know that when I do one, I always feel better immediately. Even if I can just get in a couple a week, it's still maintenance. And I'm telling you, it's not like I have to worry about going to the bathroom. I mean, I go wonderfully. It isn't about that anymore. For me now, it's just about supporting myself because the mucous membranes that are in the anal rectal area, as well as in the vaginal area, is 700 times more absorptive, right? So even though I'm taking these things that are going through my digestive tract, why wouldn't I also be putting them in at the other end so that they're able to work even that much more efficiently, right? Plus, I want to go right to the source, right to the inflammation. And every time I do one and I do the infusions, I literally see them just getting into the pelvic area and just wiping everything out that shouldn't be there.
Absolutely. That's what everybody should be doing is really paying attention to that. And when I do a coffee enema, I am asking my body to tell me how far is it gone? Where is this coffee? Has it made that first turn up from the descending colon up to the transverse colon? And I'll ask, and I get gurgling. It happens every single time. And then I know, okay, we've gotten that far. I need to be lying on my back now and putting some more in and doing a little bit more jiggling. And then again, I'm going to say, okay, where are you now? And I'll get that gurgling over at the right corner where the transcending colon and the ascending colon meet. So now it's there. And then I'll roll over onto my right side and I'll do a little bit more jiggling. And I want that to get right to that ileocecal valve. That's the valve between the large and small intestine. And again, I ask, where are you? And I get the gurgling. It's like, okay, when you ask, you get the answer. When your intent is to get that fluid all the way, I mean, it happens. It happens. Now, if it's your first time ever doing a coffee enema and you get some in, you get a gold star. I don't care if the majority of it went down the drain. You did a great job. You were down there. You got the tube in the rectum and some went in. Gold star in my book. That's how it is. That's how it goes. Because most of us, when we first start doing this, we can be very compacted. And it can take a bit before you're going to get very much in. And if that's the way it happened to you on your first time, then maybe do a warm water enema to begin with, to hopefully open up some area. So now it's got some room to get in a little bit further.
And then, of course, we talk about after the ultimate coffee enemas to do the vaginal infusions. And men and women, this is a powerful, powerful process that takes 20 minutes of your time. And I mean, the very first time I learned about these and I did them, and then I passed on this knowledge. I mean, I know that even though I was doing maintenance for myself, I have seen the magic that this does for women with any kind of issues, for men with any kind of issues, because this goes right to the source and it starts cleaning and disinfecting and grabbing things that shouldn't be there, like your bacteria, your fungus, your, I hate to say parasites, but there could be parasites lingering anywhere. I mean, it's like amazing. Even when I still, as clean as I am now, every once in a while I'll go, oh, well, golly, thanks for getting that one. And that's just how it goes. right? Where you sometimes you're doing the coffee enema, or you get a Wolf non-surgical done by somebody like that abdominal, and then you come back the next day and you go, wow, because it, not, it's hard to explain, but it's what happens. You can be using that belly button tool, and I actually use a thumper. When I don't know if you guys ever seen that for your shoulders and stuff, but when I really want to get things moving, because like Lorraine, I'll hear the gurgling, and I'll go, "Come on, girlfriend, we don't have a whole lot of time. Let's get going." I'll use that thumper, and woo! But you know what? We laugh and we talk about it because it is a joy to us to heal ourselves. It is a joy to honor that we have this knowledge to make these things possible. And I think I jumped in. Cynthia, did you want to share something?
What was I going to say? About the enema and how it not just purging, your everything in the bowel, but the liver. Really about that's a way to go in the back door to cleanse that liver. And like Lorraine was saying, talking to your body, I was like, okay, anger, because that's where your anger is stored in your liver. I'm like, we're not welcome here anymore. And so it's like that coffee's going and I'm talking to the anger, like it's okay for you to leave now. Your place is it's now exiting the body. So, talk to your body, get to know it, coming like, it's not about, like hating your body or why is this happening to me? It's like, no, let's come back to it. Let's listen to it. Those love signals, those little things that are, pain. It's really a love signal from your body saying like, hey, I need some love. I need some attention. Don't forget about me. So, taking all these classes, getting to know your body, getting to come back to yourself. I think that's pretty one of the most profound things.
Yeah. And you're right. The coffee enema is more about supporting the liver because there is the hepatic portal, which is about 2 inches up into the rectum. And that gives the coffee direct line to the liver. And as soon as the coffee gets to the liver is put on what I'm going to call hyperdrive as far as cleansing and restoring and balancing. When you can hold that coffee for 3 minutes, you've allowed your entire blood system to go through the liver when it is performing on hyperdrive. And so it's getting cleansed way better than any other time because it's got the support of the coffee. And of course, the black gold and the black diamond. By the time you've brewed that up, you've got black gold, black diamond, or tummy love in there, and the coffee. And those things support the liver in detoxifying, restoring, regenerating, helping to tonify the large intestine especially, and even the peristalsis of the large intestine. So that is the contraction to move that train along, and this one opens up, and now this one contracts, and this one opens up, and so it improves that too. So we've got to give kudos to the liver because it is the most overworked organ that we have, especially in today's world, because we are in a highly toxic world. So the more times that we can introduce nutraceuticals from the bottom up, so women, the vaginal or rectal infusion, and men, rectal infusion. But if a man's doing a rectal infusion, you have to do that ultimate coffee enema first. You want to clear that pathway so that you've got somewhere for the nutraceuticals to rest for a while and actually get absorbed. Yeah. Yeah. So, Dr. Wolf has got so many amazing things that you can be doing on your own to raise your body's vibration, to get rid of the inflammation, to get rid of the infection, to get rid of the virus load. And viruses is something that you have in your body because of being toxic. So it's a byproduct of the body being toxic. It's not something you're going to get from somebody else. You got it. So yes, viruses are nothing to be afraid of unless your toxic load is getting too heavy, and then your body manifests disease, and you get diagnosed with something. And hopefully before that even happens, you're being proactive and starting to take care of these beautiful bodies, and just watch the changes that happen. Like these protocols are amazing. And the more higher vibrational products that we get, because I remember when we didn't have the black diamond. I remember when we didn't have the infinite iodine. I remember when we didn't have the frankincense or the beyond Ormus minerals. These things have just, they're explosions of high vibration, all of those things that I just mentioned, and even the C60. I remember when we didn't have it. When we can use these things from the bottom up, like Cheryl said, they work about 700 times better. They're more effective because they haven't had to go through the digestive system. So you can go to bhnapp.com to find the exact ingredients on how you need to do these. And I like to keep it so it's a little bit more gel rather than liquidy. It makes it easier to keep it in. So I'm just really careful with how I put it in, and I listen to my body and put in what my body is telling me I need. But, when I first started with Dr. Wolf, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that because I had numbed out my body. So when you get some of those toxins out and you're able to listen to the body, now you can say, hey, do I need 2 drops of frankincense today? And I just listen, and that's the way I mix it. But yeah, any other comments, ladies?
That's a very good point. So I always encourage people to get a perfect day consultation, because when you start this journey, you really do not know. And there is so much inflammation that you're getting 1,000 messages at once from the body. And at that time, it's nice to know that there's people out there you can trust who actually have so much knowledge about how this process works. And you can get a perfect day consultation. You can go to the website. You can get it through the app. There's so much that you can do through the Brave Heart Nation app now. You can access the store. You can access all of the shows that we're doing. You can access the library. You can even do your perfect match. I mean, this is really one of the most powerful apps that has ever come out, and it is free. You can actually go and download. Become Black Friday the light. I see that.
It's become the light Black Friday sale.
That's right. It's actually happening right now. And I've already had lots of my clients that are already getting out there and ordering it, because why wait, right? And I know that you can, it meant so much to me to get a perfect day consultation, to know that I had somebody to support me through the entire journey, and they're going to be there for you for life. And this is your guide. This is not your sponsor. This isn't somebody who's going to, beat you up and tell you what to do. This is your guide, somebody that's teaching you how to listen to yourself, teach you how to become your own personal practitioner, because you will know, just like Lorraine says, you know your body better than anybody. And when you finally get back to that state of awareness where you really do listen, because there are some mornings when I go to reach for a certain supplement and my body literally stops me. It's like, I think we have enough of that today, or whatever it is. And so I listen. And some days I need more, or I might need less. It doesn't matter. I trust myself so much now. And that's the other thing, doing the mirror emotional work. We talk about the body, we talk about the physical, but without the emotional well-being, without that unconditional self-love, it doesn't necessarily stick. You have to get back to that place that actually deserves to live, deserves to be loved, deserves to have all of those, to forgive yourself, there's so much. So I know that we must have some slides. I know we're running out of time for the classes that we are taking, so that you can come and educate yourself, right? You have all these wonderful shows you can watch that's on the app. You can look at the BHN TV guide. We don't have to go through each and every one of them. We're on here. Woohoo! That's on
Yay.
Mondays. But I know that there's the app, bhnapp.com. So it's really important, you guys, start a new year, start a new world. I love that, because find your community, be around like-minded people, get the support that really counts, right? Because we have an opportunity our world is changing, and, real change can actually happen. So the next big group of things that we're having is going to be an Ixtapa. But I know that right now, I don't know how many more days is Sage gone?
He's not in the clinic right now. Yeah, I drove him back. It was about 3:45. It was a mad rush to get him where he's staying and back here to be on the other call. But no, he's not here right now. But one of the next things that's coming up pretty quick is Heal Yourself, Heal Your Family. Now, this is an online lecture that Dr. Wolf is doing on Wednesday, December the 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then the next one after that is Rock with the Doc. And that is on a Saturday, January the 4th at 11 a.m. Eastern.
And these are free.
And there's Sage. Yep. He's here right now. We had our very first day and it was jam-packed and it was snowing hard. So we started a half hour late and so on and so on and so on. But it was amazing. We had beautiful people come in, had beautiful results. A gentleman with plantar fasciitis, and he has had it for a couple of years. And Sage went to work on him, and we did some Celsonic, and he got up and he said, "Oh my gosh, it's tender, but it doesn't hurt." you know.
I've had the honor of getting some Wolf non-surgical from Dr. Sage Wolf, and I have to tell you, even though I'm a master practitioner, I've been doing it for about 3 years. He's been doing it for 15 or more. So when he goes in, he goes in. So if you have any space left, Lorraine, tell people how they can call and book a session.
Yeah, we still have some space. It'll be next week, or I might have something on Sunday. I can't remember. Yes, so you can give me a call at 403-605-9216, and that is for the Wolf non-surgical. So that is where we're reversing the irreversible, where we're opening up the blocks in the body and creating that lymphatic flow, blood flow, and bringing that life force energy back to that area. He's also got the thermography here. Now, this is a full body thermography. So he takes 120 different spots on the body, and then they do a stress test, and then he does the 120 again, and that gives him his thermal reading. And then he goes over that with you and tells you what state your body is in right now, and how you can be proactive to get it back into that healthy state, not just surviving, but actually thriving. And he also has the heavy metal testing, which not only tests what heavy metals you have, but it also tests your vitamins and your minerals and your coenzymes, and it tells you where the lack is. So these things are great for being proactive with your health so that you can up the ante and start taking care of things, because this stuff shows up well before any symptom shows up. So give me a call, 403-605-9216. And then we have the BHN Power Pack, and this is the future. This is where these clinics like myself and Cheryl, we have the Celsonic regeneration, I'm going to call it.
And I also have the cardio med bag.
Right. I'm going to move on.
The regeneration gives you rejuvenation.
There you go. And then Cynthia. You were just at the 5-star healing and training resort.
I was. Oh my gosh. And it was amazing. I got to meet you there too, Lorraine, which was awesome. But it's like the best gift you can give yourself. I mean, everything is there at your fingertips. The energy device medicines, the pool, which was like the water was like so soft and healing. Like just being in that environment, you just felt different. You just be it was just an amazing experience. If you're on the fence about it and don't know, like, go for it. Give yourself that gift because what an amazing opportunity to just be like completely immersed in this healing environment. You can't go wrong. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dr. Sage he will travel anywhere in the world. You just give him a call and he will come and do treatments or trainings. You can call the toll-free number 1-855-900-4544 extension 5 or on US Direct or WhatsApp 1-469-861-9454. And these are the courses that we've got coming up. So the next one is in Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo, and I'm looking forward to going back to Mexico in February. So
Me too.
classes start with the Whole Life Coach January the 29th, and then the Wolf Non-Surgical February the 8th, and then the Pelvic Restoration February 21st to 23rd. And then after that, we are in Calgary. Woohoo! Calgary and area. We are so blessed with having the whole crew come out and do the courses. So that's going to be the Whole Life Coach March the 19th, followed by the Wolf Non-Surgical March the 29th, and then the Pelvic Restoration and Disease Prevention Masterclass April the 11th. And then back in Ixtapa, out to Stuart, Florida next, and then back in Ixtapa. And then we have the app, the BHN app. If you haven't downloaded it, you can download it on your laptop, bhnapp.com. Or you can put it on your device, you can put it on your tablet, you can put it everywhere. It's kind of like that hot sauce, only it really is hot sauce because this is the hot sauce that's going to help you to not just survive the rest of your life, but actually thrive. And
Well
doesn't
said.
want to thrive.
There's that perfect day guide. We said you can find it at pdgfree.com, download a copy. I happen to own my own. I love having that book so I can just flip the pages and read something every single day. Put it on your laptop, put it on your iPhone, put it on your iPad, doesn't matter. It's free from the app. And of course, as Lorraine always says, your questions matter and you matter. So even in the app, believe it or not, you guys, you'll find that he has these numbers here that you can reach him at, okay? As we're whipping along here.
Yeah.
Because the only permanent health care is self-care, and the only permanent love is self-love.
Cynthia.
And to rise to your full potential, we must fly. So first, love yourself. And together we are stronger.
Woohoo!
Braveheart Nation.
And who wants to say the Braveheart Oath?
I'll say it.
All right.
I love it. Okay. I am love. I am healed. I am Braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will always trust, honor, respect, protect, forgive, and totally love myself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God. Because I am, I can, I am love, I am healed, I am Braveheart.
And thank you so much for joining us. We so appreciate you guys. And it is our pleasure to bring this information out to the masses. And I can't think of a better way for me to be spending my time right now. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, and I love you. And 3, 2,
3,
1.
2, 1. We got this.
Got this.
Have a beautiful night.